Welcome to Community Conversations. I'm your host, Steve Mantis, and I have two guests today from the New Direction Speaker School. I have Richard and Amy. Welcome.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Richard, let me start with you. You're the staff person, you're the facilitator for the New Direction Speaker School. Tell us a little bit about your own background. Did you grow up in Thunder Bay, or how did you end up in Thunder Bay?
Yeah, well, it's kind of a longer story, but I grew up in southern Ontario, just outside of Toronto. And then I've kind of been bouncing around the country ever since, between different schools and jobs. I lived in Waterloo and Ottawa, and most recently I lived in Vancouver, where I started to get involved with different kind of community organizations while I was doing my PhD there. And I really kind of believe that education is really important and can be really empowering. And so kind of while I was studying to become kind of like a professor, I also got involved with a lot of different community groups. And so then I moved to Thunder Bay about a year and a half ago to be with my partner. And so when I came here and found out about New Direction Speaker School, I thought it was a great opportunity to start getting involved.
Great. And Amy, so you're a participant in the program right now, if I've got that right.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your background. Are you a Thunder Bay girl, or?
Well, I was born in Winnipeg, but I was raised here mostly. I traveled around a lot. I've lived in Winnipeg and Saskatchewan. I've lived in Sudbury, Toronto, Peterborough, and Fort Frances. Yeah.
And so what brought you back to Thunder Bay?
Well, Thunder Bay is home for me. I was raised here, and I came back when I got pregnant with my first son, so that I could be somewhere familiar.
Excellent. So, Richard, tell us a little bit about the New Direction Speaker School.
Well, Speaker School is a pretty unique and incredible program. What it is, it's a 14-week course that we have classes once a week for 3 hours. And basically what it revolves around is cultivating the skills people need to kind of succeed and get themselves noticed in the world. So looking at public speaking skills, communication skills, and advocacy kind of work. That it kind of teaches those kind of like functional tools that we need in our society to kind of effectively communicate in our ideas, but within the lens of social justice. So that if we kind of want to go out and make a change in the world, and if we want to kind of improve ourselves in our communities, then we need to be able to communicate that effectively to others, and essentially to convince people that what we want is kind of in their best interest and is ultimately what they want. So we kind of teach people all the techniques of public speaking, whether it's how to use good eye contact and body language, or how to kind of construct a really compelling argument or hook people in with a really interesting story to kind of get them interested in your topic. So kind of all the ins and outs of how to actually communicate effectively and ultimately speak in public.
So it sounds a little bit like Toastmasters. Is there a significant difference, or how does it work?
Yeah, so there's certain similarities and kind of both focus on public speaking, but for ours there's a definite focus on social justice and also in the communities that we try to reach. So kind of our target group is essentially trying to recruit people who may not have the skills or the confidence to go to a group like Toastmasters. So we try to hit people who are kind of struggling with income or who have histories of mental illness or things like that, and really try to bring them into an inclusive environment where they really feel supportive so they can build the confidence to kind of take that next step forward, to get involved in their communities. And so we kind of do that with these kind of very close, tight-knit groups where we work together on our speaking skills, and also kind of bring in guest speakers on a weekly basis to kind of teach all of us about the different struggles of social justice that are happening in the city, whether it's around housing issues or mental health issues, or just how to get good research and information at the public libraries to really equip you with the tools that you need to kind of succeed.
So you talked about people that are dealing with issues around poverty or limited income and mental health. So what things do you do to try to accommodate that, to make it inclusive?
Yeah, well, excuse me. Well, what we do is, one thing we try to do is try to reduce all the barriers that essentially could be, which would prevent someone from coming. So part of what we do is offer funds that people can use for bus transportation. We offer subsidies for childcare or elder care. We provide a free meal at every class. And so that way we try to make it so that if you are kind of struggling with income, or you could just kind of use the extra help, that it provides an opportunity for you to engage in these kinds of activities, but without the financial burden of having to, kind of drive yourself there every week, or to kind of, cover babysitters or things like that.
So if a person is on limited income, this doesn't really end up costing them too much out of pocket, where other programs might.
That's right. I mean, it's essentially a net benefit because everyone enjoys a free meal, and kind of the good company that we also bring people together in. That it's not just providing like an opportunity for people to learn, but it's an opportunity for people to get to know each other, and people who are struggling with similar kinds of issues. So kind of both in the sense that it's financially accessible, but also socially accessible. That no one feels intimidated that they have to give a speech at the UN next week, but they're all kind of talking with their peers and people who are struggling with the same kinds of problems. So it really builds a community there.
And so, is there a cost for people to participate in this?
No, it's completely free for anyone to participate. And in addition to that, they're open to the funds we have available for things like transportation or childcare.
And in terms of, you talked about kind of an inclusive environment. How do you do that? What does that look like?
Well, one thing we try to do is kind of even before class starts, try to recruit from a broad pool of people. So we approach a lot of the different NGOs in the city who are working with different types of populations, and we ask them to recommend people who they think would be good for the program. So that way we can draw from a wide diversity of groups and not just kind of the people that you or I may happen to know and talk to about. We also kind of put up posters all over town, whether it's at grocery stores or coffee shops, or at kind of mental health clinics. And we try to kind of bring people in from a pretty diverse environment. And then once they're in there, we try to just kind of to break down any kind of barriers or self-consciousness that people have, so people get engaged early. And one of the ways we do that is what we call the woos. So basically at the beginning of class, as part of our weekly warm-ups, we do vocal exercises because we're all doing public speaking. And yeah, so one of the things we do to try to kind of lighten the mood is we use our whole vocal range of tone. So everyone together goes, woo! And that kind of, right off the bat, right at the first class and the beginning of every class, it kind of lets people know that, what we're trying to do is, a serious thing, but we don't have to take ourselves too seriously doing it, and kind of we let everyone kind of get comfortable right away, and just kind of letting us know that we can all goof around like that.
So fun is part of the program, it sounds like.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people come, at the beginning people come because they think they want to speak better in public, or they want more confidence, or maybe they just kind of want to meet some new people. But at the end of the day, people stay because of the good social connections they make, and they have friends in the class, and we have fun there. And so it's an integrated component into the curriculum.
Great. We need to take a short break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.